Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. It's time to talk some trades. It's me, Joey P. Joe Pisapia. With me, of course, is the Welsh, and we're going to look at some players we want to buy and sell this week in Major League Baseball for fantasy purposes. And let's start with a big name, Corey Seager, who really has not returned his draft stock this year. Let's be honest, but there's still a lot of season left. He's hitting just about 230 on the year with only 6 homers and about 40 games played, but recently starting to pick things up a little bit, hitting 286 over his last 6 games. He's got a home run in that span, looking a little bit more like Corey Seager. So Welsh, it's always frustrating with Corey Seager because you have the annual injuries to deal with. The hope is one of those injury IL stints is behind you, and maybe there's more good baseball in front of you. I'm looking to buy Corey Seager for this stretch run of MLB. How about you?
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. Corey Seager hitting only 238 on the season, so that's going to hold down the value in general. He had, decent start to the year, hitting over 300 in April, hit 280 in May before missing some time, or maybe that was in the April-May switch. But June, he struggled. He's hit only 100 so far. But really the main thing outside of historical data with him is a lot of the data looks great. It looks fantastic. He's got one of the highest walk rates he's had of his career. Barrel percentage over 14, big average exit velocity, almost 93, and an expected batting average of 293. That's one of the biggest jumps in baseball right now. So the profile of who he is still there. He just has not performed at that level. He's had injuries and struggled over this early June month here. So I'm a full buy on Corey Seager just because we know, he's going to put up that 30 type based home run season. So I love the idea of buying low because I also think there's some frustration has been all season long with the Rangers, but specifically with him right now.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't think he's going anywhere either. I think he's sticking in that environment too. But at the same time, certainly, again, I think people at this time a year ago, what am I getting out of this player? What am I not? I put a lot of draft capital into Corey Seager. It hasn't been returned. And I think that's something you can prey on if you are a very smart fantasy baseball manager. The Cardinals have come crashing down to earth, losing 7 of their last 10 games as of recording this. And Sonny Gray could potentially be a piece on the block. I don't think the Cardinals are realistically a playoff team this year. I never did. Sonny Gray, on the other hand, could be someone that could help not only your fantasy rotation, but a lot of contenders. He's still got a K per 9 over 9.5. The walk percentage too, the walk rate, 1.69 walks per 9, very good. His ERA is a little high, 3.84. And if you look at the expected ERA, it's right around there. However, the FIP and the XFIP are both closer to 3.21 and 3.04. I think this is a really unique time to buy on Sonny Gray, a veteran pitcher who could help a lot of rotations, including your fantasy one.
3.84 ERA last year, 3.84 ERA this year. He had a 3.6 ERA in March, a 3.6 ERA in April, a 3.71 in May, and over 5 this month. So it's kind of fallen apart in this month, but whether it's just like month-to-month data or historical data, like you kind of know what you get out of Sonny Gray. And to put into percentages, 4.6% walk rate. It's the lowest of his career that he's ever had. The expected ERA is like a little bit higher than where it is. It's at 4. He's also got an expected batting average that, he's given up a little bit more barrels than expected batting average than you want. That expected batting average is telling us there might be a little bit more contact in Stowe, but he's also switched his pitch mix a little bit where he's throwing more sinkers this year than 4-seam fastballs. And you're going to probably throw that sinker a little bit more to contact, but I agree with you. K percentage is still good. He's not walking. And if he's going to go to a contender, I think that's all going to help his value. And if someone is looking at this short stint of like a 5 ERA in June, the short sample size isn't quite telling the full story. You're going to get like a 3.6 to 3.8 ERA. And if he's on a new team, he might get more run support and wins. I like the idea of trading for Sonny Gray.
Another pitcher who could be on the move for the Pittsburgh Pirates is Mitch Keller. And you might say, why do I want Mitch Keller? He's 1-9 this year. Well, that's because the Pirates are horrific, especially in terms of offense. And if you dig a little deeper, you see Mitch Keller is actually tied for the league lead in quality starts. Here are the other names that are up there, just to give you some reference where Mitch Keller is. Logan Webb, Hunter Brown, Zach Wheeler, Paul Skeens, Max Fried, Spencer Schwallenbach, and Mitch Keller all have 11 quality starts. They're all tied for the major league lead. He's got a 4 ERA. Mitch Keller's got a decent strikeout to walk ratio. To me, that's another veteran starter that could help a ton of contending teams. And if he ends up in a better spot for win equity, and continues to throw quality start after quality start, well, those QSs are going to turn to W's in that column and help you a ton. So I love trying to go out there and acquire Mitch Keller with that 1-9 record, buy him off that, and hope that he gets dealt in the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Also, 7 of his last starts, he has put up a quality start, and he has 1 win on the season.
Crazy.
So, yeah, I mean, he's not like an ace, but I think there's legitimately maybe a conversation, who would be the better guy, Sonny Gray or Mitch Keller being traded to like a winning team. There's more strikeout potential with Sonny Gray, but I mean, if the 4-seam sweeper combination that Mitch Keller has thrown out has led to like pretty low batting averages. That sweeper specifically has looked good. The walk rate is still nice and low. His expected ERA is at 3.9. That is lower. And really the biggest thing we keep telling you about is like he's putting up quality starts. He has a team that has absolutely no win support. Much better chance that Mitch Keller is going to be moved over Sonny Gray at this point.
Sure.
Because the Pirates, they've got to be selling off pieces, and there's not much in the market that is like easily available. The Pirates would be one of those teams if someone is aggressive enough. So put those quality starts on any other team. Those things are going to turn into wins. So it's a really good time to buy him before he's traded, because once he's traded, it's no longer Mitch Keller, lowly little Pirates. If he's traded to a Red Sox or a Dodgers or something like that, you give me quality starts of Mitch Keller with the Dodgers in that offense, you might turn 7 of 8 quality starts into wins. 7 out of 8 wins for him. Wow. So I love this buy.
All right, there's some players we don't love that we might want to get rid of. Before we get to those names, just a quick reminder too, use all the tools here at Fantasy Pros. There's still plenty of time to sync your leagues for free. In fact, if you go premium at Fantasy Pros, it'll take you all the way through the next 6 months, through football season and the rest of baseball season. So make all your fantasy teams winners and use tools like the Trade Analyzer, where you can instantly evaluate if a trade benefits you or your opponent, see how potential trades affect your stats, your standings, and your lineup. Make more informed decisions today using the Trade Analyzer, only available at the Fantasy Baseball My Playbook app, where you can download anywhere, or go to fantasypros.com/MLB My Playbook. All right, let's get to Marcell Ozuna, who has had a pretty good season, but we know he's been dealing with that issue with the hip. And now all of a sudden, after a couple weeks of us making some light humor on leading off about, Marcell Ozuna doesn't seem to be affecting him. Well, it feels like it's starting to affect him a little bit, at least at the plate, because you're looking at him right now as that DH, and, he's not driving in runs the way he was. If you look at the overall stats, 11 homers for him, 250 batting average, but hitting under 200 in the last couple weeks here. Things really have hit a skid. So maybe it's just a cold streak. Maybe it's that hit bothering him. Either way, there's enough fear for me in the marketplace right now when it comes to Ozuna, Welsh, that I think I want to shop him around just in case an IL stint could be lingering at some point where he gets shut down, maybe through July in the All-Star break, give him that extra week. Because if you see something like that pop up, it could really hurt you in the standings. I think now might be the time to pounce on a move, to move on from Ozuna and look for somebody else in return.
So an interesting thing about this is, like, in the same token of what we talked about with Sonny Gray, we're like, look, 3 ERA, 3 ERA, 3 ERA, then it's 5, and we're giving him the benefit of the doubt. You could argue, be like, well, guys, Marcell Ozuna hit 300 in April, he hit 277 in May, and he's hitting a $157 in June. Why not the same benefit of the doubt? One of the biggest pieces to that is the injury. I think that's the thing that carries me. If there wasn't this like hip thing, I might be like, yeah, this is just something that weirdly stands out. But that has me concerned. I'll also say this. April, 18 walks to 17 strikeouts. May, 22 walks to 28 strikeouts. Those are good numbers in general. In June, he's had 15 strikeouts and 51 at-bats with only 4 walks. So, again, this could just be part of like the weirdness that's going on, but something does seem to be off. He has been pretty predominantly destroying fastballs while breaking and off speed hasn't been there. Like, I think he's still really good, but if there's some type of even value out there that someone thinks are maybe buying like a tiny bit low on a Marcell Ozuna, I think I'm with you. I might potentially consider consolidating and moving off of it, just because that type of injuries with a batter like this, it just has me worried that maybe we're already seeing some of the lingering signs, and it just might be something you don't want to be a part of the rest of the season. So I'm not selling off just to sell off and, I got to get out quickly, but I think I am listening to it because I'm worried that is what's showing up on paper, is some of that injury.
Yeah. And if he starts to miss time, then you're really up against it. So like I said, now's the time where you probably want to start to look to make that move. 2 Rays pitchers we got on our list today too. Don't worry, it's not Pepio, it's not Boz. It's actually Drew Rasmussen to start with here, one of the two. And he's been brilliant this year. So I don't want to take anything away from what he's done, but it has been surprising. And the next guy we're going to talk about also been surprising, Zack Littell. Now, Littell is a player that, I don't think a lot of us were really in on. He was out of options going into this year. So we thought, all right, Zack Littell is probably going to stick in this rotation for at least the time being. And he's been pretty good when you look at it, except the strikeout rate hasn't been terrific. It is much lower than where you want it to be for a fantasy starter. It's down at 6K per 9. Now, the secret sauce is he isn't walking anybody. That's been good, but the underlying metrics are a little scary. The 3.84 ERA belies the fact he's got a 4.62 expected ERA, a 5.40 FIP, and a 4.15 xFIP. And then when you were digging into Rasmussen, you found some stats that were a little concerning on him as well.
Well, since May 1st, I mean, Rasmussen, he gets his wins, 5 wins in that time. Like, he's getting it done, a 2.49 ERA. But in that time, he had a 3.55 xFIP. And that's actually pretty representative of his season long, where he's got a 2.55 ERA and a 3.54 expected ERA. Now, you could say, like, he's just a guy that's always going to beat the expected numbers. That's a possibility. But the two things that stand out, like, the strikeouts are so low. He had a 6.6 K per 9 since May 1st, and he has about a 22% K percentage overall. Those don't quite add up, especially as of recent. And he had an 89% left on base percentage, which that is not going to be sustainable. Like, anytime you see, like, 90s is a little bit more worrisome, but that kind of speaks a little bit that you're leaving runners on way more than you probably should. And that speaks to some of those expected numbers. Rasmussen is great. He's been good. He's been getting a bunch of innings, but the low strikeouts, expected numbers being a full run higher. I think what I'm staring at here is I'm trying to sell people on a 2.5 ERA guy through 14 starts so far in the year. And I'm trying to sell those stats to maybe get out from under, just because I think we are going to have some regression coming in for Rasmussen. And I agree. Littell, I think, is another degree. I think Littell is like, I am trying to sell him as a serviceable starter and getting out, because I think we're going to crash into more of that 4.5 expected ERA in the near future. And there's just very little. I mean, we talked about Brian Wu in the, low walks with like strikeouts. Like, these strikeouts are dramatically lower. And the Rays have got some very interesting minor league pitchers. They put Ian Seymour into the bullpen. They've got Joe Boyle, who's kind of looming in the minor leagues. If he starts to kind of fall apart, Littell's the type of guy that maybe could be taken out of a rotation. Rasmussen won't, but I just think Rasmussen's going to have some regression. So Rasmussen is a sell high. Littell is just kind of a sell out.
Who are you selling out for? Who are you buying this week? Drop your comments below. Let us know. We love to hear from you. And do you think that you are ready to move on from some of these Rays pitchers? Let's keep the conversation going. And don't forget, when you subscribe to FantasyPros MLB and drop your comments below, you might win yourself a Cecil Fielder autographed jersey this month. That's the giveaway. Some lucky dog's going to win that one. Let it be you. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For the Welsh, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.